In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint your background in cool colors. That is the purples, greens, and blues on this part. So if you want your picture to be purple, green, and blue in the background, then you'll follow this video. If you want them to be red, orange, and yellow, you'll follow the next video. Alright, so I'm going to start out by painting everything with water. And you want to completely cover your paper, but you don't want it so wet that it's dripping. Just enough to make the paint spread. You need to be careful about going back and forth on the paper because you might tear it up if you're not careful. And since it took you a while to draw this, you want to make sure you're not messing it up now. And of course you can use whatever brush you like to do this with. I prefer this one. It's a round brush, that's what they're called, and mine is number 10. But you can use whichever one you like. This one just happens to be my personal favorite for doing this. Alright, so now I'm going to start with my painting. So I can use, let me move this down here. I can use any of these three colors, green, blue, and purple. So I'm going to start out with blue. Now when I go use watercolor paint, I'm going to start with a container of water, paintbrush, paint, and some paper towels. Okay? You take your water, put it into your paint, and just kind of paint on it. You don't need to gouge, you don't need to scoop paint out. This isn't acrylic paint or tempera paint, so just paint on top of it and let the water activate the paint. Then you're going to just take it and gently press your paint onto your picture. I'm not worried about covering my word because it's going to dry a little bit lighter, assuming you painted like I told you to. And since blue is my favorite of these colors, I'm just going to start with blue. You can start with whichever one was your favorite. And when I do this, I'm not jabbing with my paintbrush. I'm not going like this and jabbing and making my paintbrush look like that at the end of class. Notice it's still nice. I'm just taking it and kind of pressing. Okay? Alright, when I feel like I have enough blue everywhere, I wash my brush out, I go choose a different color. And this time I'm going to do purple. I'm going to start putting this around. If it ends up a little bit too dark, that's okay. You can go back with water and kind of soften it up. I do feel like mine was a little bit too dark. And if it's like way too dark, you can take one of your paper towels, put it on top, and press, and that'll help lighten it up a little. It is going to dry a little bit lighter than this too, so don't worry. Washing out my brush, going to my green. And just keep dabbing colors around until you get something you like. And you get rid of that white space. And it will dry a little bit lighter, so if your word's disappearing, as long as you can still see it enough to trace it back, you're fine. But it's going to dry lighter than this. So I'm not worried about mine at all. I can still read it. And it's going to be just fine. Okay. So now I'm going to pick this up really carefully because it's super delicate. And that's what it'll look like. Okay? So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to put it on the green shelf at my table and let it dry. Now I'm going to wipe off my table. And then the next step in the next video, I'll show you how to make the leaves look realistic.